Are you having trouble finding your automobile in the parking lot? Do you remember that movie you saw last week? Do you have a hard time remembering where you put your keys? How about the name of that new diner you tried? Are you feeling a little disorganized? You're not alone in feeling like this. Our brains get increasingly noisy as we age and are less capable of registering new information. For many years, scientists assumed that we were born with the brain that we had. There is a theory called neuroplasticity that claims our brains can change. The more you put your brain to work and put it to the test, the better it will perform. So instead of using only 5 to 10% of your brain, train it to unlock its full capacity. By the time you've completely watched this video, you would have learned the superfood tricks to unlock your full brain capacity. What's the greatest approach to take care of your brain? Small lifestyle changes appear to improve your ability to think, retain knowledge, and concentrate. Going for a quick walk, attending a class once in a while, or getting adequate sleep can all help. Diet is also crucial. According to a study published in the Archives of Neurology, eating a Mediterranean diet can help protect you from mental decline. People who followed this diet, which was high in fish, fruit, vegetables, legumes, and monosaturated fats like olive oil, moderate in alcohol, and low in red meat and dairy products, had a 28% decreased risk of cognitive impairment after 5 years. Green leafy vegetables, low-fat protein sources like fish, whole grains, mushrooms, magnesium-rich nuts, seeds, eggs, antioxidant-rich berries, avocados, and tomatoes are all good for the brain's long-term health. Another study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry claims that the abundance of anthocyanins, the antioxidants that give blueberries their blue color, in blueberries promotes neuron-to-neuron transmission in the brain. Fish oil includes DHA, an omega-3 fatty acid that promotes the formation of neurons in the brain also, says Dr. Supriya Bali of Max Hospital's Internal Medicine Department. Things we eat can have a significant impact on our brain anatomy and health. A brain-boosting diet can help with short-term and long-term memory. Because the brain is an energy-sensitive organ that consumes roughly 20% of the body's calories, it requires lots of excellent nourishment to stay focused throughout the day. Certain nutrients are also required for brain health. Omega-3 fatty acids, for example, aid in the development and repair of brain cells, while antioxidants reduce cellular stress and inflammation, both of which have been associated with brain aging and neurodegenerative illnesses like Alzheimer's disease. How are these neurodegenerative illnesses treated? Let's introduce you to ketosis. Before we continue, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to get notified whenever a new video is uploaded. What is ketosis? Ketosis is a metabolic condition in which your body burns fat instead of carbohydrates for energy. It occurs when you drastically restrict your carbohydrate intake, decreasing your body's availability of glucose, sugar, which is the cell's primary source of energy. The most effective strategy to enter ketosis is to eat a ketogenic diet. This usually entails restricting carb intake to 20 to 50 grams per day and focusing on fats such as meat, fish, eggs, nuts, and healthy oils. It's also crucial to keep your protein intake in check. This is because if you eat too much protein, it'll be turned to glucose, which will slow down your ketosis. Going without food for several hours is another approach to enter ketosis. Many people enter a moderate ketosis state between dinner and breakfast. Ketosis can also be induced via intermittent fasting, a nutritional regimen that comprises regular short-term fasts. In addition, fat fasting is a ketone-boosting strategy that mimics the effects of fasting. It entails consuming 700 to 1100 calories per day, with about 80% of those calories coming from fat. This combination of low-calorie consumption and high-fat intake may assist you in swiftly entering ketosis. A fat fast should only be done for 3 to 5 days because it is deficient in protein and most vitamins and minerals. In fact, it may be difficult to adhere to for more than a couple of days. Intermittent fasting can take numerous forms, but the most typical include restricting food consumption to roughly 8 hours each day and fasting for the remaining 16 hours. There are blood, urine, and breath tests that may be used to see if you've entered ketosis by measuring the number of ketones your body produces. Increased thirst, dry mouth, frequent urination, and decreased hunger or appetite are all signs you've entered ketosis. Enter ketogenic diet. The term ketogenic refers to a low-carbohydrate diet, like the Atkins diet. The goal is to consume more calories from protein and fat while consuming fewer calories from carbohydrates. The carbs that are easiest to digest, such as sugar, soda, pastries, and white bread, are the first to go. When you eat less than 50 grams of carbohydrates each day, your body soon runs out of fuel, blood sugar. This usually takes 3 to 4 days. Then you'll begin to break down protein and fat for energy, potentially resulting in weight loss. Ketosis is the term for this state. It's vital to remember that the ketogenic diet is a short-term diet designed to help you lose weight rather than improve your health. This low-carb, high-fat diet will raise blood ketone levels if followed appropriately. These provide a fresh fuel source for your cells and are responsible for the majority of the diet's unique health benefits. When you follow a ketogenic diet, your body goes through a series of metabolic changes, including a decrease in insulin levels and an increase in fat breakdown. When this happens, your liver produces a large amount of ketones to provide energy to your brain. Health benefits of low-carb and ketogenic diets. For example, it's well known that they can lead to weight loss and help manage diabetes. However, they're also beneficial for certain brain disorders. What are low-carb and ketogenic diets? Although there's a lot of overlap between low-carb and ketogenic diets, there are also a few important differences. Carbohydrates are often limited to 50 to 130 grams per day on low-carb diets. The intake of protein is normally unrestricted. Ketones may or may not reach dangerously high blood levels. Ketones are chemicals that can partially replace carbohydrates as a brain energy source. Carbohydrate intake is reduced to 20 to 50 grams per day on the ketogenic diet. Protein intake is frequently regulated. One of the main objectives is to raise ketone levels in the blood. The brain will still rely on glucose, the sugar found in your blood, for sustenance on a regular low-carb diet. The brain, on the other hand, may burn more ketones than it would on a regular diet. On a ketogenic diet, ketones are the primary fuel source for the brain. The liver produces ketones when carb intake is very low. The 130 grams of carbs myth. It's possible you've heard that your brain needs 130 grams of carbohydrates every day to function correctly. One of the most widespread misconceptions regarding what constitutes healthy carbohydrate consumption is this. In reality, the Food and Nutrition Board of the National Academy of Medicine stated in a 2005 report, the lower limit of dietary carbohydrates compatible with life is 0, provided that adequate amounts of protein and fat are consumed. Although a zero-carb diet isn't recommended because it eliminates many healthy foods, you can eat less than 130 grams per day and maintain good brain function. How do low-carb and ketogenic diets supply energy for the brain? Low-carb diets provide your brain with energy via processes called ketogenesis and gluconeogenesis. Ketogenesis. Glucose is the brain's primary fuel source. Unlike your muscles, your brain cannot use fat as a fuel source. Ketones, on the other hand, can be used by the brain. When your blood sugar and insulin levels are low, your liver converts fatty acids into ketones. Ketones are created in modest amounts anytime you go without eating for a long period, such as after a full night's sleep. During fasting or when carb consumption falls below 50 grams per day, however, the liver raises its production of ketones even more. Ketones can provide up to 75% of the brain's energy needs when carbohydrates are absent or reduced. Gluconeogenesis. Although the majority of the brain can function on ketones, some areas require glucose. Some of this glucose can be supplied by the minimal quantity of carbs taken on the very low-carb diet. The rest comes from gluconeogenesis, which means creating fresh glucose in your body. The liver produces glucose for the brain to use throughout this process. Amino acids, the building blocks of protein, are used by the liver to create glucose. Glycerol can also be converted to glucose in the liver. The backbone that holds fatty acids together in triglycerides, the body's fat storage form, is glycerol. Gluconeogenesis features a consistent supply of glucose to the parts of the brain that require it, even if your carb intake is quite low. Bottom line, Ketogenic diets, according to the evidence, have significant cognitive benefits. The most compelling data concerns the treatment of drug-resistant epilepsy in kids. Ketogenic diets may also help with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease symptoms, according to preliminary research. Its effects on patients with these and other brain illnesses are still being studied. True, the brain can't function at its full potential on just ketones. It also requires glucose. An extremely low-carb or even carb-free diet, on the other hand, poses no threat to your brain. Gluconeogenesis ensures that your body produces and supplies all of the glucose required by your brain, in turn unlocking your brain capacity. Hey, you've made it to the end of this video. So what do you think? Do you think ketogenic diets are overrated? Do you think you can ever maximize the potential of your brain to the fullest? Let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Oh, and turn on post notifications. Now, if you will excuse me, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.